Good evening, good evening. Thank you very much for coming. Takes a lot of discipline and a lot of desire to come out and spend your evening here with us, especially when the weather is like it is outside. So thank you so much. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to come in and join us and to join the message that the administration will be providing this evening to the Honokaa community. Before we get going, I'd like to give a special warm appreciation to the Honokaa People's Theater and Phaeton, so please, and Mayor Alameda. Yeah, I have the privilege, or I had the privilege, of being born and raised in Honokaa till I was about 7 or 8 years old. Then we moved into Hilo. But for a lot of you and a lot of the members of our cabinet here, administration, Honokaa is their hometown, and it's always great to come back home. And you'll see a lot of that tonight because there's a lot of projects, there's a lot of issues that are near and dear to each one of our hearts, and we're very, very, very mindful, and we're very inquisitive, and we really want to know what the voice of the community is, because this is a very special community, has a lot of special meaning for a lot of us and a lot of our families. So with that, again, thank you, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Mayor Kimo Alameda.
All right, thank you. Okay, thanks, Bill. So Bill is my managing director, and yes, he is from Honokaa, but it feels like he's from everywhere because everywhere I go, somebody knows Bill, and he's worked under 5 mayors, so he gives me a lot of advice, and as a number 2, if I'm not here, I really feel confident that Bill can just step into my shoes. I also want to introduce Deputy Managing Director Merrick Nishimoto. So in selecting the staff, right, you're only as smart as the smartest person in the room, right? So I'm trying to get people who can round us out in the most comprehensive way. So Bill's an attorney, but he's also, so he was a little bit corp counsel, a little bit HR, again, a lot of experience. Merrick's an engineer, so, and Merrick's on the west side, and, kind of like, and he very familiar with the west side. Bill's familiar pretty much with the whole island. So that's kind of like our, when we drive around and we're trying to figure out like, hey, where's the issues? And if we got to follow up on something, they drive with me. So today we was all over Honokaʻa. I went up to the rodeo. I'm going to look, because, and Jill said, no more parking. So when there's a rodeo, we got to go up Mr. DeLue's house. We got to go park, I mean, not his house, but a property. And, it's kind of congested. So we went up there. We go look up there. By the way, I saw Clayton up there. Clayton's our P&R director. So it's really cool to see. And Melissa's the deputy P&R director, Melissa. So it's really cool to see, like we out there troubleshooting, and then we see them troubleshooting. Meeting with some arena folks who wanted to kind of share that they had some concerns about I guess it was something inside the arena that they're working on. So we went there, then I went to the bathroom, because everybody said that the bathroom at the park is all boss up. So true story. We went to the bathroom. We took some photographs. I took video. And now we're going to take that back to our parks maintenance. And we're going to say, yeah, one of our top priorities is to replace that bathroom as soon as we can. So yes. I can make that pledge to you folks because, it's the girl side, the boy side. It's just, there's no basin in one of them, and the privacy and everything. And there's a concession that I think would, like a concession area that could work if it's up to par. So those are some of the thoughts that I have, and there's many more, but let me just go and share with you. Tonight's kind of a meet and greet, right? It's the first year. I didn't want to wait till right before the election to have town halls, okay? I figured, hey, right, if you're really genuine and you want to know, then we should start immediately. And so here we are. But since we don't know you, I wanted to kind of get a meet and greet, and then we'll spend an hour like in a group discussion. And then the last half hour, you guys can come up and you can meet any one of our directors, and you can have your one-on-ones. if somehow this becomes kind of like, if we just can't make the group situation work for some reason, because I've been in groups, I'm a psychologist, I run community meetings, sometimes it's just not working. Somebody comes with an agenda, and they ain't gonna get off their soapbox. And then they get into an argument. If we get into an argument, I'll stop us immediately. We'll close down the group session, but you can have your one-on-ones. I don't want this to turn into a stage area where there's a performance of some sort. Okay, we're just here to get to know you better, get to hear your issues. I know you have some strong opinions of some issues, and we're going to hear that tonight. But we also want to be mindful that there's other people with other issues as well. So let's start with our left side over here. Go introduce yourself and your department. Take it away, Talmadge.
Thanks, Mayor. Good evening. I'm Talmadge Magno. I'm the Civil Defense Administrator. We've met with a few communities out here before, but happy to take your questions tonight. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Summer Tokihiro, Director of Human Resources.
Good evening, Diane Nakagawa. I'm with the Finance Department.
Hi, Clayton Honma, Director of Parks and Recreations.
Hi, Jay Yoshimoto, Assistant Corporation Counsel.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Martin, Mass Transit Agency.
Thank you, Jennifer. So Corp Counsel, that's like a fancy word for that's our attorneys. So they're our attorneys. Thank you for being our attorneys.
Aloha, I'm Hugh Ono. I'm your Director of Public Works. And let me point out Neil Azevedo, our deputy over there, our very capable deputy.
Right on, Neil.
All right, good evening. I'm Wes Segawa, your Director of Environmental Management. And I'd like to introduce my deputy, Craig Kawaguchi.
Oh, Craig.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Merrick Nishimoto. I am the Deputy Managing Director under Mayor Kima Alameda. I'm also his representation on the Kona side. Thank you.
Thank you, Merrick.
Again, Bill Bruhanti. I'm Mayor Alameda's Managing Director.
Good evening, Renee Schoen, attorney.
There you go. She's the director.
Ki Tokomoto, Manager for Department of Water Supply, and I'd like to introduce Kavika Uehara, our deputy.
Kavika.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Jeff Darrow, and I'm with the Planning Department. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Hi, good evening. I'm Kea'au Costa. I'm the Housing Administrator, and our Assistant Housing Administrator, Keiko Mercado, is here also tonight.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Corey Stone, and I'm the Director of Information Technology.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Benson Medina. I'm the Director of Research and Development, and my very capable deputy, Dennis Lynn, is sitting right here.
Thank you, Dennis.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dan Volpe. I am the Deputy Fire Chief, Hawaii Fire Department.
Thank you, Dan. So the chief is in Kona right now, South Kona, big conference today. Awesome conference. We'd like to share a little bit about it real quick. I think it's paramount.
No, absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Actually, we just came from that conference. On the Big Island, we have a wildfire issue. And around the state of Hawaii, we've had a wildfire issue. The Hawaii Wildfire Management Organization has been a nonprofit on the Big Island for over 20, 25 years. They've been trying to ring the bell. They've been letting everybody in the county and the state know that there is a fire issue here. Unfortunately, until recent tragedy, it didn't have everybody's attention. So building out some of the momentum that follows these tragic events in order to keep them from happening, Chief Todd decided to let's put a bigger convention together. So a partnership with their organization, with our organization, we brought all of the counties, we brought county planning directors, we brought some academics from the university on land management, fuel mitigation, hazard mitigation, and all of the ways that a community can work with the government and work with academia and work with the people to prevent the wildfire hazard. This started off with about 80 people. It's grown into 300. We sold out. They're doing an amazing job, and we're just happy to support it and have the mayor's support. Thanks for the opportunity to spread the word.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. All right. Laura.
Okay, I'm Laura Ocasio, Director of Office of Sustainability, Climate, Equity, and Resilience.
Thank you, Laura.
My name is Ken Kiocho. I'm the Assistant Police Chief for Field Operations at East Hawaii.
which happens to encompass Hamakua. I also live out here. The chief is on vacation, the deputy's at some 911 conference in DC, so I got the short straw to come out. I think a lot of it is because it was on my way home, but I've worked in this community as a police officer. In fact, I started my career in this community. My father-in-law represented this community at the county council level. His name was Takashi Domingo. Some of you may remember him. I married his beautiful daughter. We raised our kids here. I love this district, I love this island, and I love the people that come here to support the county and the police department, the fire department, and everything we're trying to do to provide better public safety. So thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Right on. So this is the county. This is our county government, right? So it's about 20 departments. One person's missing, and that's his name is Matt, and he's our animal control. So they're all invited to come. Again, this is on their own time, and so I just appreciate them being here for you folks. So can I give them a big round of applause again? Thank you so much, you folks. Appreciate you guys. All right, so let's get to it. So here's some ground rules, right? You get to ask a question. I'm going to ask you if it's a question or a statement, because many times when I hold these forums, I say, anybody has questions, but really you all just have statements. You want to voice your opinion. So that's okay too. Just tell us what it is. If it's a question, it's a question. If it's a statement, let us know. I want to be transparent. Also, you get to ask your second question when everybody else has a chance to ask their first question. Okay? That's a simple. I'm a school teacher too, so I know how to manage big groups. In fact, this is a really big group. I'm really impressed. This is better than any movie that Honokaa had over here so far. Okay, when did we fill the seats like this? This is awesome. Okay, so I get to be the moderator, so I'm gonna just take it right here. This side right here, your question. I'm gonna walk up. You got a question? Go ahead, Don.
Yeah, I have a question. We talk about the wildfires and the eucalyptus trees. The Hamakua coast is, it's a spark. I'm just wondering if there's a current plan for like evacuation, how to prevent, some kind of with the state, county, and the fire department, obviously. It's a huge issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Now, that's a genuine question. All right.
That's a great question.
Take it away.
So unfortunately, I did work out here many years ago. I do remember this district from here to La Poihoi and all those trees in between, and we watched those trees. And we always, over the years, there's been a number of different proposals that have come through to sort of manage the forest, right? Either different products, create different products. Currently, as far as the evacuation is, I would have to double check with our civil defense administrator, but there's not a lot of residential areas within there, right? So as far as evacuation, we can probably move towards the highway. As far as, I don't know, to be honest with you, I can't say who currently is managing that area of the forest. I believe it's Forest Solutions at one point, where it's kind of moving through and moving areas through. But we definitely we have our fire company, we have a volunteer fire company in the Pauwilo district. We keep an area in there and we'll be able to respond to kind of anything that happens in there. But to my knowledge, unfortunately, I can't tell you if we have a specific response plan for that specific district. It's something we can work on.
Thank you. Can you, check with, I think that's a good one to take back, because there are so much eucalyptus trees, and it could be a fire hazard. And they suck a lot of the groundwater. So, and there's different proposals, like you said, Honua Ola was one, that's going to use it to make energy and such. So that's a good point. How about Talmadge? Take it away.
Thanks for the question. It's a common one amongst the communities on this island. In fact, last night we were at Volcano Golf Course meeting with them on this particular issue. Their threats up there are due to the volcano as well as wildland fire. The bottom line, you got to do what you can do. If you can shelter in place, that might be an option, but you've got to come up with your own personal plan depending on what your vulnerability is. Are you exposed to those eucalyptus trees, or is it that you're in a place that you got defensible space around you that you could stay at home during a fire and not be threatened? So that's a lot of considerations. On our webpage, Civil Defense webpage, on the county website, we have a lot of information as to building your plans and so forth. You can even call us. We've worked at communities to make plans, to help you guys make plans. So That's one aspect. The other aspect is to make sure you can receive our messages. So both civil defense and police put out messages. Make sure you've signed up for our Everbridge and Nixle messages. The alerts will come out to let you know what's going on. Then you can, put your plans into action and respond appropriately. And I'll be here the rest of the night if you want to talk. Well, not all night, but after this.
All right, I'm going to go one more time on this side, and then I'm going to jump in the middle. Yes, ma'am. Oh, sorry, I just missed you. Up here.
Hi, thank you for doing this. There's community concern for the safety of the residents of the area of Waipio Valley, Kukui, Hale, and Kapolena. Currently, there is only one access out of that area in the event of an emergency, severe storm, wildfire, or a singular exit could present a grave situation. There has already been a storm that caused the Waipio Honokaa Road to be blocked for an extended period of time that delayed a resident with a critical condition to be able to get to the hospital in time to receive the care that was needed. That could easily happen again. As we are all aware, since the fires on Maui, a lack of a clear access to a safe exit can have tragic effects. Fortunately, there is already a crude alternative via mud lane. With some funding and help from county officials and community members, a plan for a clear pathway could be developed and enacted to provide an alternative exit. Mud lane could be used only in the event of an emergency if that was desired. Thank you for considering this extremely important.
Thank you for sharing. So get this, 60% of our subdivisions there's just one way out. 60%. So for Waikōloa, we had Waikōloa ask the same question too. So that's why a week ago they had a Hulu Street going all the way down to Queen K. They had a little practice there. But Waikōloa is growing, right? So they want another exit. So every community is asking for this another exit out in case, and so you're right. So that's a concern. And I don't know if anybody would like to shed light on the Waipio situation. If you get stuck, I went to visit Waipio, 2 weeks ago. I went down. If you get into a situation there, it's going to be hard to figure it out. But we did have the fire folks were down there. We had a policeman, and they talk, and they did share that it could be hard to reach folks there. Yeah, you like to share?
No, just to speak to the fire response. Traditionally over the years in Honokaa, we've used helicopters as needed. You've seen them kind of flying over and landing. We will find a way. Like the ambulance is stationed right here in Honokaa. We do our best to get to anywhere we can get to and do our best to get out. So, we'll pass it over. Yeah.
The latest status on the Waipio Valley Road is that there are currently some engineering studies going on. Right away, Neil, if I stand corrected, but you had mentioned that we have tree trimmings scheduled pretty damn quick, right? When's that for? May 12th is the pre-bid site visit. Okay, May 12th is we're going to do a pre-bid site visit, so we'll do some tree trimming along the road. There's also some geotechnical work going on and some engineering work to look at evaluating alignment corrections if we need. Unfortunately, an escape route out of that area would be, I think, a very extremely difficult challenge.
Thank you. All right, middle, this side. Sorry, I got two of this side. I got to go middle now. Go. I'll come back. I'll be back.
I'm the sole member of the Hamakua Community Development Plan Action Committee on the Wildfire Subcommittee, and likewise I just came from the conference over on the Kona side. I am wondering, should Honokaa have a fire break and fuel break formalized around it?
That's another good question.
You're the man of the hour there.
Apparently, I do my best. Could they? Probably yes. And should they is always a different question. Yes, I would argue in order to make a fire break, right? A number of factors have to be considered: the width, the length, the prevailing winds. Where do we make our breaks in our communities? Also, the risk and the frequency. On paper, a break around every community sounds like a fantastic idea to me. I think the reality is it's not cheap. I would say that it takes money and takes time to get these things developed, and then it's also a matter of prioritization. I would definitely though if we could look into that. I mean, a big fire break again. It comes at the fire department's possible recommendation based on the community's output, but it's going to be a partnership. It's not obviously the fire department that's going to build the road. It's going to be a partnership amongst the county and different partners around the state to identify how we actually complete that road and where we complete that road. A question of where would it go. Where again we'd have to probably look into it to make the best recommendations, but something we can definitely look into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so today's conference was like fire breaks, like reservoirs, like places that they can dip, get water, and fire hydrants got to work, sirens got to work, So there's home assessments, hazard assessments, where somebody goes and looks at every home and say, hey, your trees are too close to your home. It should be 25 or 50 feet away from your home. So like there's a lot of check boxes that we could revisit through Firewise, which is why I think Firewise is a really good partner, because they help us with fire mitigation. So fire breaks is one, but there's many fire mitigation opportunities for us in the county. One more. Go.
My wife and I live in Honokaa, and we were considering building an ADU, with the new law. And I called the water department yesterday, so I guess this is a question for water, and talked to the clerk first, and then they sent me to engineering. And they told me that it's still a hard and fast rule that you can only have one home per meter. And I was wondering, the allotment for a residential meter, I believe, is 600 gallons a day. That's 18,000. Are you the water guy? I gotta look at you. That's 18,000 gallons a month, and we use 2,000 gallons. So my question is just, could that be looked at, and maybe it would be a matter of capacity, because some of our lots are small. You put 1 or 2 ADUs, there's no room for catchment, and some parts of the island is too dry for catchment. So I wondered if you could address why we can't have multiple homes on 1 meter if we stay within the capacity.
Yeah, great question. Maybe we can talk story one-on-one after. It's really in our rules that, that condition exists. And even in my position, I don't have the authority to break our own rules. But, because this new ordinance or this new opportunity went into effect, maybe it's time that we got to go relook at our rules and see what may fit with, the new opportunities in place. So, yeah, definitely, let's talk story. It's something we'll have to take to our water board and go through a public hearing process and whatnot, but that's all doable. It's all doable. If it's, if, like you said, if you're within that amount already, kind of seems to be okay, right? Yeah, so, yeah, let's talk some more later, and then we can move forward.
That's a great question. So, yeah, so 1 TMK per water meter. It's kind of... Oh, and 1 house per meter. Oh, I got you. So what you're saying is, but your house has shown a history of not using too much water, so why not 2 houses per meter? Yeah. Common sense, makes sense to me, but we got to check. Yeah, good. Okay, working up here. Go, sir. John.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, this question is for you. This is pertaining to homeless. There's a, I don't know if you're aware, but there is a homeless camp that is located below the post office in Honokaa, going down to Haina, a few hundred yards below the post office. There are people there that have been staying, they're squatting there. The land belongs to people that are not paying the taxes. And so there are about 35 of them that live down there. And what's been happening is they've been coming up during the town, during the night. And some of the businesses here can tell you that they've been robbed. And so a lot of police department has been very busy going down there on calls. The fire department is going down there putting out campfires, and they've they come out during the night and they check out the town, and whatever they can take, they can take. And they have gone as far as robbing our church. They broke into our church, stole money and some of our valuable things. And so we're very concerned, and I know the community is. I would like someone to address the issue, if possible. Thank you.
Thank you, John. By the way, I really like this sound system. Everybody can hear back there in the front. This is amazing. Who's our IT guy? Thanks. So John asked a really good question. So homelessness is all over. I actually participated in that 1 day time count. What is it called again? Point in time count. Yeah. So and we went to the post office in the back. You're right. And they're camping out, and it can be dangerous because of fires. They make little fires, and that thing can spread. I'm sure. And the police, we just had this discussion yesterday about what we're going to do with Hilo, what we're going to do with Kona, and now I'm hearing there's possibly 35 homeless in Honokaa. I bet you there's homeless that amount maybe in Kea'au, Pahoa. So it's a big statewide, island-wide issue. And I mean, we're doing everything we can on our end. I think they say close to 25% might be coming from someplace else, but 75% is local. When people think it's the opposite, but no, these are local people mostly. And there's drug addiction, and there's mental health issues, and then there's a combination of that. So it's a very multidisciplinary approach that's going to be needed to fix this situation. There's also a housing crisis, and our shelter capacity is also maxed out. So you brought that to our attention. You put in the kind of like the yellow marker on Honokaa, and so we have our housing director here who can tell you that we've been working hard to try to fix this situation in all parts. Kea'au, you like to add anything?
I mean, you cover it very well. It's such a complex issue, and it takes all of us. It's interdepartmental. It's not just housing. It's community policing. It's, for some of our communities, it's parks and recreation. We're doing our best to address it, but it's a challenge. And our office does provide some financial or grant subsidies to our nonprofit providers. We do have an engagement hui, and they are trying their best to get out into the community, work with our homeless families, unsheltered families, to provide resources. We do have social service navigators in every community to help families connect to resources. It sounds like there might be some private property issues there, if that's private property. It's just really complex, but that's why we're here today. We're here to hear about the issues in the community, take these issues back to our teams, work with our task force to try to address them. So I appreciate that you're bringing this up to us. There's not an easy answer. It's really complex.
Thank you for sharing that. One more in the middle. Go ahead.
Hi. I think love is the answer. And can I grab you right now, and can we pray? Kevin, Pastor Kevin, can you lead us all in a prayer? Because we forgot to pray at the beginning of this meeting. Would you offer up a prayer? And the prayer is that I think we're all here for the same reason. We love this land. We love each other. I'm really, really grateful that you have stepped up. You swore an oath to the Constitution, yeah? You, as a public servant, are trustee for the Constitution, which is a public trust, right? We, the people, are the beneficiaries. We stand to have truth and love for this land, and I'm grateful that you're here to represent us. I'm grateful. And thank you for all your team who is here to serve the people. Yeah? Are you okay if I ask Kevin to lead us in a prayer?
You can lead us in a question.
In a question, but can we offer a prayer first? No. Just 1 minute? No. No? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. But you can ask a question, Kevin. You have a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was debating whether to ask or not. I appreciated the couple minutes I got with you beforehand and with Jeff Darrow. I guess I'll just maybe a statement followed by a question. I've been testifying just getting more involved in my community because I've been negligent in being involved in my community and trying to be a part of the solution. And so trying to remedy that. But since July and the general plan, the 2045 came out, just becoming familiar with it and showing up to testify at the local community and then at the Planning Commission and then hopefully not at the County Council coming up, but with a lot of concerns. And the question is more like, the emotion is the frustration of feeling like I've listened to hundreds, probably there have been thousands, but listened, I've heard hundreds of testimonies that primarily 99% have some significant concerns with the general plan, not with the whole thing, but with. And we've had a couple concessions on some language and maybe some verbiage, but not in the systemic issues that we've had. So that's the comment and the emotion of feeling not heard. Thank you for your testimony. We swear an oath, but then nothing changes. And I think that there's lots of examples of that. This just happens to be the one on my mind. The others that come to mind, Wolbachia mosquitoes a couple years ago, the please label our food for consumers to know if it's been genetically modified that didn't get, right, things like that at the state level. And so that's the emotion. The question is, my desire is that the problems to our communities, we solve in our communities. And I'd just like to hear your comments about your commitment to, I acknowledge that there are enormous pressures on your position. There are outside influences. Some who don't know, 2015, the state of Hawaii signed and agreed to the United Nations 17 sustainable goals or whatever, right? And had been moving on it since then. And the new general plan is 80% similar in language and content to that same plan. As a bit of data, and some of us don't like that direction systemically, but want a plan that is organic and created here. So that's the comment. The question is, your administration, how will you be known for? This meeting is an example of it, but how will you solve our problems by involving us and to solving problems here in our community, not from outside influences?
Thank you, Kevin. So that's a lot. And it's not that I'm not a prayer person. I'm a prayer person, but everybody comes from a different life experience. Yeah, and so our definition of prayer might not be their definition of prayer. So let me just say this, that when it comes to the general plan, I was a planning commissioner when I was 30. Under Harry Kim, they asked me to get involved in government. I was like, okay, let's get involved in government. And there was we're under a general plan already. It's nothing different. You just have to update it. So, for all the folks who are like, oh my gosh, this general plan, I don't know. Well, we're already under a general plan currently. And as a planning commissioner, I was under the general plan. It's a guidance principle. So people would say, oh, it's in the general plan. So, okay, the general plan was written 5 years ago. Today is today. So I have a different opinion than the general plan. So I'm going to go this way. And that's how I went as a planning commissioner. And so same thing here. It's a guiding document. I think there's some concern out there that it's like the binding contract, that's the way the county is going to go. There's a mandate to complete the plan, and we've never could complete it because of opposition. This was wrong, that's copying that. You're going to put us into a controlled state. We don't want to get out. We don't like high density. We don't want to be controlled. Smart cities come up as an issue, this, that. It's like, we're never going to complete this plan. Right? You want another 6 months? I got you. I bet you know Jeff. Yeah, I bet you know Jeff. Jeff, you want to share a little? Go ahead. You must know Jeff. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor. When I've been at the planning department for over 25 years, and during that whole time, there has been a general plan leading and guiding and directing us, as well as our planning commissions, our county council, and the planning department in our decisions. We're mandated by law to update the general plan. So we launched the general plan back in 2015. There was a change in administration. With that change, the general plan direction changed. But regardless of what happened, when those plans were being formulated, it was done with everybody's input around the island. This went through every community, through public hearings, through processes to get as much input as we could from the communities to be able to input into this plan. So personally, I feel that it was an overwhelming effort, not once, but twice, because we were going through the 2040 plan, that got put on hold, and now we're in the 2045 plan. But again, this has gone through tremendous, I think this has gone through more public input than any other process I've seen in my career.
Okay.
And so we're at that, we're at the end of that. We're going through the public commission, the planning commission public hearings. We have one more at Windward, and then we're up at county council. Again, everybody has an opportunity to participate, to provide input, and then the council will be the final authority. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. No, remember my rule? Yeah, I'm gonna jump to this side, right here. Jonathan.
Thank you. Thanks to everybody for coming out here. I hope we can do this on a regular basis. So I think there are a number of people who've been impacted by this situation where they took out a building permit more than 5 years ago and started building gradually and put their life savings into it. And then suddenly, even while they're under construction, the permits that were older than 5 years got frozen. And so I'm just wondering if there's going to be any kind of an amnesty program for homes that were built to the code of the original permit that the owners took out and started building, and then they got, frozen while in progress. Thank you.
All right, let me wait real quick. Let me give a preference to this before we got Mr. Ono jumping in here. So let me share with you, because this might be a Jeff question too, this way. Yeah? Permits, right? So let me tell you, so permits come. Jeff, could you explain, let me explain so somebody submits a permit, watch, it goes like this. So permit comes in, where does it go? Which department? Oh, this department first? Okay, and then this department does what? Okay, department shows it to planning, okay. So what is the planning department's check boxes before you send it back there? Go.
So ours is very simple. We make sure that, number one, the zoning is correct. Number two, the setbacks are being met. That's the distance from the property line for the actual structure, the height requirements, those kind of things. If it's commercial or anything like that, there's additional conditions that we just check to make sure. Very quick, we're usually in and out within 3 days. 3 days.
3 days. Okay, now it goes to this department called Public Works.
When we're finished, it's going to be 3 days. Let me admit to you that the building permit issue is the biggest bugaboo we have. So we're new here. We're just jumping into this administration. Our focus is on the building permit process. And quite honestly, I don't have better language. It sucks badly. But we will improve it. There's a tremendous amount of attention going into building permit by myself, our deputy, the mayor, the managing director, deputy managing director, and we've already spoken this week to our entire staff on both sides of the island about a paradigm shift in the way we do business. Okay? I can go into a lot of detail what we're doing, but we're not happy with the EPIC system. We talked to other municipalities across the nation, and not very many of them use this. It was built for healthcare, not for building permits. So, eager to take a look at it, whether we should change it, dump it. Maybe if we change the name, you won't even notice the difference, huh? No, but we're working on it diligently, daily, I assure you.
Let me ask you this. What about those permits that were granted and then expired? Yeah, that's a good question.
I'll make a note of that.
Extensions?
Okay.
Do we allow extensions? Yeah.
You're supposed to do so much work within a certain period to keep it active. So I will follow up that. I need your name and your contact information, okay, and you'll hear back from us.
Okay, that's why the second part, the half hour, is time for you to go talk to whoever you want up here. Okay, since this is a big group, 1, 2, 3, one more here. On this group, I'll go up here. I'm gonna go down there later. We're going this way. We're coming back after. Anybody else up here? Okay, here. I gotta go row by row. I'll come back there later.
Aloha. I live up in Ahualoa, and my question is, we have all these big eucalyptus trees, and you guys cut them down so they don't fall on the power lines in the road and whatnot. But then it doesn't seem like it's inside of the maintenance of the road, because the mowers come and cut the grass and stuff. But you just let the trees grow back and don't cut them again. And a eucalyptus tree, if you do that, it's just going to grow back more crazy than before. And it seems like, I know it costs a lot of money to cut those trees, because I had some tree work done recently. And I'm wondering why it isn't part of the county maintenance when they're small and you don't need like a ladder and all this stuff to just keep cutting them until the tree doesn't keep growing.
All right, so real quick, so you guys know that, so I started there on that row. Now I'm working my way here. I'm going to this row. After that, I'm going to go to this row. So if you're raising your hand now, no sense, I'm not coming to you, because I didn't go to this row yet. And then after this row, then I'll jump to that row. Oh, well, next time come early. Okay, that's a great question. Go, Neil.
Hi, everybody, I'm Neil Azevedo. Every year we put out a bid for tree trimming the hazard trees, which is in the county right away. Our tree trimmers put a bid, we cut the trees down or trim it to skyline. The skyline ones, we don't herbicide. The ones we cut down, we herbicide. So happened, it grows back. We just, on our way up there, we see the tree, we're supposed to cut it again. You know, if you see those trees, just let us know. And I'll continue to tell our guys, so you see anything, cut it down and re-herbicide it.
So we cut it and we herbicide it, just to make sure it.
Now, I'd like to find out who planted those trees.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to this row. Hi, Mommy, go ahead. I'll get one more up there and then I'll jump to that side. Go ahead.
Aloha, everyone. Given the recent federal cuts in funding and the new tax plan that is benefiting primarily higher income brackets, I'm wondering how each of the departments are going to recapture, what are the plans to recapture federal funding? And if there are any creative solutions, especially in Section 8, SNAP benefits, the VA, Medicare, and such things. Thank you.
That's an awesome question. The question that we're most concerned about right now. So all of your concerns are our concerns. It's scary. Our housing department is pretty much all federal funded. Our transportation department is pretty much federal funded. So that's why I have a talk story with Senator Schatz on Tuesday, because I want to know. We need help. We need protections, right? And it's really unfair. So, Diane, go ahead.
Yeah, great question, and very timely as the county looks to adopt our next fiscal year budget. This is very much top of mind, as the mayor said. And, you know, unfortunately, one of the things is we're still asking for answers. Our departments are in very close contact with our federal partners. We're monitoring it very closely. From a budget standpoint, we're looking at all the positions and all the funding in the county that are under federal programs, and then looking to see what's the next step. But right now, we're asking the questions. As Mayor said, he's actively asking our congressional leaders about making sure that we stay protected and we have these federal programs. But that is very much top of mind in our budget process, and we're actively looking at those things. So thank you very much for that question.
Thanks. You have a follow-up? Okay. Since that's such a great question, what's your follow-up?
Is there anything that legally prevents the county from looking at wealth surtaxes or increased or progressive property taxes on higher income brackets that are benefiting from Trump's plans?
Oh boy. Wow, that was like a statement. a suggestion. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we hope it doesn't get to that kind of a solution because it'll split our community, I think. But you want to take a stab at that?
Yeah. Sorry, okay. So our tax rates is something that our county council sets every year. So, depending on the timing or the climate, it could be local issues or national issues such as this. And that is the time when those types of structures and rates are evaluated, and that is done and set by our county council.
Thanks, Momi, for that question. Here's a question, brother.
Hi, good evening. My name is Gilbert Gutierrez. I'm from Papaloa. Apparently there's only a community meeting here and in Pepeʻekeo, if I'm not mistaken. So because I'm in Papaloa, the only big issue was our gym. There's other issues, but I just wondered if our gym is going to get built or not for the park and recs. Thank you.
Oh, I love that kind of questions we can answer with an affirmative. Clayton, take it away.
Yeah, hi, Gilbert. Yeah, absolutely. The gym is going to be built. We're near getting done with construction already. We're already planning for the groundbreaking for that place already. Thatcher, our PIO, who's over here, just had the first meeting in regards to planning for groundbreaking for that covered play court there. But yeah, we just have one more permit that we have to go through. But once that permit is done, we're going full steam ahead with getting that covered play court built out there. Yeah, 3 days.
Thank you. All right, question.
I don't have a question. I have a comment. Well, two comments. Just recently, we had experiences with needing police help, and I tell you, this community is so blessed with the kind of police department we have, and I will give you concrete examples. Hopefully, this can be replicated throughout the island. I'm going to Hilo, and I'm parked on the side of the road so I don't get a ticket and talking on the phone. And I saw these two policemen pass. Next thing I know, they were on the opposite side of me. I said, oh, Lord, what now? And you know what they did? They said, Auntie, you okay? I said, yeah. You sure you okay? You don't need anything. I said, no. But we talk about aloha. Eh? I experienced the purest kind of aloha with them. Last night, 12:30, my phone rings, and I'm all la, and it was the police department. I said, oh, Lord. And I live way up Pauilomauka. And one of the officers, we have a house here that nobody's in, and they check that no more pilikia, and they call me. My husband and I came down because they heard some kind of alarm. Of course, was the fire alarm, but not, And I just think that we have to be more appreciative of the kind of communities that we do have. And I see the captain over there. I know he's infiltrating everybody by asking aloha be spread. And this is the one question for Mr. Honma. Clayton Honma, yeah. With summer fun, before was free, now it's $100 or something. What we experienced was the poor kids who no more the money to go, especially if you get 3 or 4. They stay home and they just make whatever. Last year and the year before, we had several families that the kids wanted to go and couldn't go. And the staff at Parks and Rec here somehow found money and they were all able to go. And again, I want to say thank you. And if we can replicate that, that'd be great. Besides, you're the best mayor that we ever had.
Oh, boy. Okay, Aunty Cara.
Absolutely.
Summer fun can be free. It's kind of almost.
Testing. Okay, yes, Carol. I mean, absolutely. Our guys try their best to make accommodations so we can have as much participation as we can. I mean, summer fun throughout the island. There's a wait list to get into our programs because it's one of the most affordable, childcare throughout the summer for kids and for parents to have their kids participate in programs that provide recreational opportunities, excursions, going to the movies, doing many different things out there. There's also a program that we once had with the elderly department as well, too, that was kupuna caring for grandchildren as well, too. Just like you said, maybe sometimes kupuna are out there that have 2 or 3 grandchildren out there and they cannot afford to send all of their grandchildren to summer fun. But with this kupuna care program that we do have, we've partnered up with the Office of Aging in the past to have them come in and work with us with a grant to supplement, our programs as well too, so more kids can participate in our programs. We're looking to do that again with our Office of Aging as well, but we try to, accommodate as much families as we possibly can out there. So yeah, thank you for that.
All right. One more question on this side, and then I'll head it to the middle. We got about 10 more minutes.
Hi, aloha, Mayor. I'm Coach Christie. I know most of you. I live in Kapalena Camp. I've been here 20 years, so I am not a newbie. But I have a very specific question, and this is not in any way a disrespect of our local police force. So for my neighbors who live in Kapalena, Kukui Hale, I'm not calling anybody out specifically, but within our camp of Kapalena, we have a specific issue with someone who is squatting on a property. They have squatting on a small property. The owner has died over a year ago. They have between 12 and 20 vicious dogs that they hunt with daily. They have weapons out on their patio every day, open weapons, unconcealed. There's a child there. There's domestic violence. There's theft. They steal things from the neighborhood. They deal drugs. They use drugs. Regularly, we hear shots going on through our neighborhood because they hunt a lot. But every time I hear a shot, I write it down on my calendar because there's domestic violence, and I'm afraid someone has been killed there. I have friends who live on both sides of this property, and every time I hear a gunshot, I'm afraid one of them has been injured by a stray bullet. They go through our properties. Okay, and you're welcome to come see me later. Again, I'm Coach Christie, also known as the girl who walks her dogs because I rescue all the stray dogs on the road. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I don't know, you like to answer that? So, the squatting is an interesting situation. We have so much squatters, vacant properties, and it's hard to get them out for a lot of different reasons. Maybe corp council, or I think it's amazing how, people, first of all, I don't think they was raised right. Who would go into somebody else's property, that's not their house, and then they just make home? Who does that, right? It's people do that. I'm amazed that people you get some nerve. It's not even your house. It's not your property. You act like it's your property. And when people come to kick you out, you mad. What you mean? You think that's your house. Who raised these people? I cannot believe it. But it happens. And then we call the police, and it's you cannot do anything because of some reason. Why is that? Can somebody help me? Judge? Okay, wait. I want the legal answer. Wait. Go.
So I understand what you're talking about. When I was a captain in Kea'au, believe it or not, I drove from Honokaa to Kea'au every day for work. But when I was out there, our problem was in Ocean View with the same type of issue. People driving around, looking for a vacant house. They will move in, they will break into the residence, they will move in, they will connect their electricity to their neighbor's residence and then steal electricity. and basically live in the house. What we did was we started looking at, one, the property owners and making them responsible for the property. The difficulty in that is some of them were finance companies who really didn't care about other people living in the residence. For the police to actually take a proactive...
Hold on, let him finish. Yeah, thank you, Coach.
For the police to take a proactive measure, they actually need a victim to be able to stand up to the complaint. However, if there is criminal activity taking place, then the police will take a proactive measure on the criminal activity and will remove them from the residence. Such as somebody who's doing drug dealing, somebody who is committing a crime in one location and then quickly running to that area where this residence is. We can obtain a search warrant, an arrest warrant, we can go in there and we can take care of that person. In Kulaʻimano Road in Hakalau, there is a couple that was dealing with a lot of drug dealing and issues with 3 different properties, 3 different houses there. The houses are in terrible condition. There are nothing but multiple vehicles that were just left on the property. And what it was becoming was, there was a person there dealing drugs. It was becoming a mecca for criminal activity to take place. And usually in that area, Hakalau, Umauma, there's not a lot of criminal activity that takes place. So what we started doing was working with that community member that was making the complaint. We got the vice officers involved, and we went in and we were able to take care of, cleaning out that with the criminal part of it. And then work with the county, Jeff's nodding his head, because they did a lot of letters to the property owner telling them they were responsible for cleaning up and things.
I got you.
It takes time, it takes community effort, it takes information, it takes us partnering with the people that are concerned. And those people, not just complaining and dropping it on the police officer's lap and walking away, but helping us by standing up and when it comes time to testify in court, telling the judge in the court of law what they're dealing with in that community.
Okay, I like that. You like to add anything to that, Renee? We're so fortunate. Our corp counsel head attorney also worked as an interim judge. So take it away, Your Honor.
Your Honor. Yeah, I just wanted to add that the difficulty really is when the owner is not around, and so we do want a victim or somebody who will, have the complaint be seen through. And so oftentimes people will say, well, I want to remain anonymous. I don't want anybody to know. And so, but yeah, we do need everybody to work together to solve that issue.
Okay, that's a great question. And so we have a half an hour after this. You can talk directly to our police. So if you have questions again about anything to do with civil defense, disaster preparedness, you got Talmadge here. We also have an HR task force. So some of you might be like, yeah, I was applying for a job, I couldn't get them. Or you're like, any issues that you think that could help us be better at our hiring practice, Summer's here to help answer that question. We got our finance, Diane's here as well to ask about budget issues. I think that was a good question. Of course, Clayton, if Renee has a hard time answering a question, try Jay, okay? He's the deputy. Our bus service, Jennifer's here to talk about our bus service. You may have a question there. Of course, Hugh, anything to do with wastewater, our landfill. Wes is here, Craig's here. You got Merrick, if you want to talk about Kona-specific issues or building issues. Of course, Renee. You got our water guy, Keith, here. Jeff can talk about permitting, planning. You got Kea'au to talk about housing. You got IT. If you try to get our website, maybe you think we can improve it, talk to Corey. Okay, we have a research and development. It's really kind of like economic sustainability, if you will. Jobs and such, innovation, that kind of thing. You want to talk to Benson. You already know our fire representative here representing the chief. If you want to talk about environmental sustainability, just whatever around environmental, protecting our environment and such. We have our Oscar office, and that's Laura Ocasio. She's here as well. You could ask her questions or you could make statements. And then, of course, our police department. So it's half an hour to the hour. We got some treats outside. we want you to be free to ask us whatever you want on a one-on-one basis. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your efforts. This is just such a great turnout. I think this is a bigger turnout than we had at Auntie Sally's in Hilo. So give you guys yourselves a big round of applause. So caring, you care. Honokaa cares. This is unreal. So we'll be here, I'll be here. Let's hang out for another half an hour. There's food outside. Help yourself, get to know each other. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Aloha.
Listening to the rolling surf. Oh, how I wish that I could be sure